All right, welcome to the next Foreman Community Demo, 29th of October. Ken Gilvin here to host. We've got a nice schedule for you today. We're going to be going through a few things from the team, a little bit of chat about various plugins and core code changes. I'm going to do a little bit on some of the community stuff I've been working on, and obviously we're open to questions. So do get involved. There's a question and answer app. You can ask questions in IRC. All the usual stuff. We'll be watching. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Daniel, who's going to start talking us through Foreman Cockpit.
Hi, let me share my screen. All right, so first I'm going to explain, can you see my screen? Yeah?
Yep, that's absolutely fine.
So first, in case you don't know what Cockpit is, it's a project that started as a way to manage your Linux system through a web browser, as the website explains. The way it works is it's connected to your system through a daemon that you can see it here. In this case, it's turned off. What this daemon does, if I understand it correctly, it's to connect to the dbus API in your computer, and it's able to do all sorts of things. If you don't have it, it's available for all of these systems. In the case of the CentOS Atomic, Fedora Atomic, and RHEL Atomic, it comes enabled by default. And the plugin that I wrote is called Foreman Cockpit, and what it does is to integrate this into Foreman. So I added my local host into my Foreman instance, and as you can see, since my Cockpit service is turned off, I don't see anything. If I turn on my Cockpit service here, I will see a Cockpit button on every host. Foreman does this automatically. You don't need to configure anything. Once you install the plugin, it will see if your operating system is one of these or not. And if it's one of these, it will try to find for the Cockpit service. Sorry, Cockpit has a web API, so it will try to ping Cockpit at an endpoint. So once we click on any of the Cockpit components, you will be prompted with a username and password form, and you can username and password for any of the users in that system. In this case, I'll log in as root, but I could log in as Daniel, and I will have a different set of permissions. I clicked on services, sorry, and I can see all of the services that are running here. I can start, we'll do all sorts of operations with services. Enable them so they start at the computer startup. I can open a terminal here. Let me disable Vim, and I can see stuff, and I can do anything that I could do on that computer. And I basically can see all sorts of information about that computer. An interesting one is if you have Docker in that computer, the Docker service, you can start it here, and you can basically monitor any containers that are running on your computer, fetch images, and so forth. And yeah, you have components for all of these things: storage, networking, containers, accounts, etc. So I'm thinking this could be especially useful for people who have Foreman access rights, but they might not have access to the machines in Foreman, or maybe they might not even be in the same network, and maybe Foreman can access them, so you can manage this system through Cockpit in Foreman. So that's it. It's packaged, but the packages are not built yet. They're in the making right now. So they're supposed to be published this afternoon or evening, so I'll send an email to Foreman users explaining how to install it, and that's it.
All right, thank you very much, Daniel. We have a question from Lukash. He wants to know whether the API for Cockpit might slow down Foreman for hosts which are not, directly related.
Yeah. What I did is to configure a timeout of just, I think it's 5 seconds. It might be 10. I'm not sure right now, but I configure a timeout is hard-coded of that number of seconds. If it doesn't reply in that time, it will load the regular host form, the regular host show. The thing though is that normally, if Cockpit is disabled or the address is unreachable or something like that, that kind of errors fail like automatically in their second. So in that case, it doesn't slow down the host show page. But yeah, in the case that for some reason the connection between your host and Foreman is really slow and Cockpit is enabled on the host, it would slow at most 5 seconds the host show page. But again, I don't think that would be the common case.
Cool, that's cool. Ohad would like to know how that ping is routed.
It's done from the Foreman server to the host.
It's a single network thing at the moment.
Yeah, it does it also only to the FQDN of that host. So if you have Cockpit for some reason running on a secondary NIC on that host, then it would not be able to find it.
Cool. So presumably these are areas for improvement, right? Since this is a first release.
Yep.
Okay, I was actually talking about the UI traffic, but he did say the ping in the first one.
Oh.
But yeah, sorry.
UI traffic comes through an iframe, so it doesn't pass through Foreman at all. So when you're writing the username and password and that stuff, Foreman doesn't even need to know. Like that traffic is going directly from the browser to Cockpit. So if you're worried about things like writing your password there and somehow it leak into the Foreman logs, that should not be an issue.
Cool. And so, yeah, I think you already said this, but yeah, so Cockpit itself isn't going to deal with like proxy access to separate networks and things like that. That might be something to add to the Foreman plugin a bit later, right?
Right.
Right, cool. Okay, thank you very much. Next up is Justin, who's going to tell us a little bit about the stuff he's been working on for the host unification.
Alrighty, my screen should be shared now. So we demoed a few weeks ago about how Catella systems or content hosts and hosts are being unified. So I'm coming back today to show you a little bit more of that progress. The first thing we've done is we've actually integrated facts into subscription manager facts into the host that's being created. So if we go to the fact values page, you'll actually see all of those subscription facts. But while that's loading, I'll actually show you. We can search on the host page and do like facts.net .interface eth0 IPv4 address, and it's the normal scope search auto completing. All of those are derived from Subscription Manager, though not from Puppet or Chef, and they live alongside any Puppet facts that you may have. And so here we can see that these are using the structured facts similar to Chef and Salt plugins. So you can actually drill down to see the child facts, which is kind of handy. And then these facts get populated at registration time and as facts are sent from the client post registration as well. The second thing we've added is a couple of different statuses via the global status that Merrick has added in the past. So as you can see, we have a errata status and a subscription status. And as things are updated, these statuses will change to, for errata, it's between security errata available, non-security errata available, and up to date. And then subscription status, unentitled, partially entitled, fully entitled. You can also search for these on the host page. So we can say errata status equals security needed, and that would return our host. Similarly, you can say subscription status equals unentitled to see all of the hosts that are unentitled. And I'm not sure why my dev box is slow today. So you can see this host came back because it actually is unentitled, or sorry, it needs security errata. And that is about it. Hopefully next time we'll have some more updates for host unification.
Okay, thanks very much, Justin. We do have one question from Thomas McKay, who wants to know if there's a way to display flat facts. I'm not entirely sure how that differs from just, unless I guess you mean unnested, like splitting out all of those facts. But I don't know if that's a thing or not.
The current structured fact display, I don't believe, provides a method to do that. That could be an enhancement that we add.
Cool. All right then. That's really good. Thank you very much, Justin. So moving on, we have got Toma, who's going to give us a couple of updates on things he's working on. So Toma, if you're good to go.
Yes, I'll just share my screen. So I'm going to give two updates. One is an update from the parameter usability team. This is a change that hasn't been merged yet, but we hope will get merged soon. It has to do with the overrides in the host and host group forms. Right now, this is what parameters with overrides look like. You have the Puppet class and struck out, and you have all these sorts of they're added. If I click override, it adds another row. If I remove it, sometimes the button doesn't get added back, and all sorts of problems. And if you have multiple classes, it can get really long to look at and difficult to understand what overrides what. Just switch branch quickly. Okay, so now the change is to provide the override option inline. Okay, so now classes that are overridden can be edited inline. You can set use Puppet default, unset it. If you want to see the original value, you just click on the info and get the original value info, the type, the matcher, what value it is. If you want to override a new value, override it, remove. Very simple. This isn't done for global parameters yet because global parameters are resolved differently. The overrides are done differently. And we are planning on changing global parameters to work the same way that Puppet class parameters work. So for now, global parameters will remain with the old override system. And once they are changed to work in the same way as Puppet class parameters, then this override will work for them as well. So this is the first subject that I wanted to show. The other thing that I did recently was a change to the way tables are rendered. It used to be that each cell had a limit on the number of characters that it had, and if it overflowed, there was a tooltip. This led to some white space that if you used higher resolutions or you wanted to show the table in full width, led to a lot of white space and premature clipping and annoying tooltips sometimes when you don't really need them. So now the tables only clip when they need. For example, this OpenStack is OpenStack latest environment. It's clipping, so it gets a tooltip. The development isn't clipping, it doesn't get a tooltip. The way it is done behind the scenes, the table is set to table fixed, which gives it the predefined width. You have to set the actual width for every cell in the header. And once that is set, any cell that have the ellipsis class will get automatically clipped and tooltipped once they overflow the content. And this is it for me.
Okay, thanks very much, Toma. I don't see any questions for you just now, but hang around. Just going back to Justin for a second. Ivan wants to know whether or not the errata applicable status applies to the library or to the current content view.
It currently applies to the library. It's the status that you would see, I guess, basically on the sort of the main errata page. It's the initial status.
Just a shortcut then, effectively. Right. Okay. Thanks, Justin. So moving on. Next up, we're going to have Alan, who's going to talk to us about discovered hosts. So Alan, if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Hey guys, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, you can see my screen?
If you could zoom in a little bit, that's quite small text. That's perfect.
Oh, okay, so basically what I did is change the discovery host show page. This is the old show page. As you can see, it's a really long table. It's not categorized. It's really hard to look for something specific. What I made is change a bit the look of it. I divided it to categories. Everything that's related to storage goes to storage. Hardware, the same. You can expand, expand. Plus you got this interface, which actually combines all the facts and connect between them, so you'll have a full view of the interfaces that you have on this discovered host. Everything, all of the categories are made with regex, so we also added a setting for each one of them. Like, let's say you want your highlights, I can give it like this regex, which will pretty much catch everything. And now when I return it to the same discovered host, the category will actually fit to the regex. Beside that, as you can see, now everything is in the same category, so you can pretty much customize the look you got for the discovered host for your preference. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thanks very much, Alan. That I have to say, as a former discovery person, that looks absolutely lovely. Right, so moving along, we've got Marek, who's going to give us some updates on the remote execution work.
Okay, hello everyone. So today I would like to show you updates that I was talking about a few demos ago.
Larger, please. It's quite a small font you've got there.
Is it
That's
better
good.
now?
That's
Okay.
much better. Thank you.
So right now I'm gonna trigger a job on 68 hosts here, so I can show you the result of changes in our UI and live updates. So when you trigger such a job on a big amount of hosts, previously we had to hit refresh button, so our table here would populate with hosts after they are resolved. This is no longer needed because we load the table, and also you can see that we auto-refresh this table, the statuses of the hosts. Also, you can notice that we added pagination here, so if you have a lot of hosts, it seems to be possible now to navigate through all of them. And also one nice thing is that we can search now here, so we can do something like name is root, and it should filter all hosts with name that matches this search. So we can watch the progress only on these. Also, we don't do the full reload, so if you want to select some text and copy, for example, the FQDN, you don't lose it even during the upgrade. And one other thing I would like to show you is that we also edit remote execution status using the global status we were talking a few demos ago. So when you go to a host that last execution succeeded and one on which it failed, you can see that, hopefully in a second, you can see that there is a new execution status here, so you can use that for searching host, and you can see the same information in API. So I think that's it, unless there are any questions.
Thanks, Mario. We do have one from Mario. I think he's basically asking, when are you expecting to release this as the next release of the remote execution plugin?
I think this maybe is even in the existing release. It's probably in Nightly, so you have to in Nightly repositories. So you would have to install it from there. But it's, as far as I know, it's already released.
Okay, his question was specific to 192, so presumably there's no current plans to backport that.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, thank you very much, Marek. One question going back to Alon. Daniel was just wondering whether or not you'd thought about doing a similar fax display for just ordinary hosts as well as discovered hosts.
Yeah, basically both discovered and the regular hosts have pretty much the same fact values. So changing it to work for hosts is pretty much no work at all. I just wanted to initially insert it into discovery, see if people like it, and if so, we'll also move it to the regular host show.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, well that just leaves me then. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. So as many of you will be aware, I got handed the role of community management work a couple of months ago. I'm just coming up on 2 months into that role now. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of an update about where I'm at. Now, a lot of this I've already put out on the mailing list, but not everyone reads the mailing list, so I thought this would be a nice venue to just give you a little bit of an update on what I'm working on. So there's a few things in the pipeline. My main areas right now are metrics. It's very difficult to know how well we're doing without metrics, and I think generally people will be interested in those metrics once I start gathering them. So I'm going to work on what we can collect and what we can publish and see how we're doing as a community. If there are things you are interested in seeing, do let me know. I've got a list of things, the obvious ones, GitHub and Redmine and so on, but there are others as well. So that's something I'm going to be working on. I've been working on the blog. I opened a pull request this morning to change the entire Foreman blog over to a Jekyll and Markdown, just the same as the rest of the website. This has a number of benefits because it enables collaboration in the same way that we not expect, but we encourage participation to the website and the manual via GitHub, and people can change and fix problems, submit new content. There's no reason we can't do that for the blog as well. One of our most popular blogs is the 2012 blog on provisioning on EC2. It's still the second largest number of hits on the blog. So that's ancient. It was written for, I can't remember exactly which version, 1.1, 1.2. But people still use it, so there's no reason we can't get typo fixes, updates, guest blogs. All of this is enabled if people can just send us a pull request. So that pull request for that change has been opened this morning. I'm waiting for feedback on it. And then I'll be encouraging people to contribute content to the blog. I want to really see a very popular blog with lots of content on it, because I think as techies we like to read things and have things that we can cut and paste into our own documentation and try things out on a VM. I'm looking into events. Some of you will have seen the Beno meetup that went out to Twitter and the Google Plus community. There's a London meetup next month. There was an Israel hackathon, which I really hope Shlomi will put up a little report on soon. So that's going to continue. If you are a community member who's interested in running a meetup or is already running some kind of DevOps or Foreman related meetup, do get in touch. I can try and support you as best I can. I do have a plan to try and get events onto the Foreman website as well, so that there's a nice easy place to see what's happening. Specific to the Foreman London meetup, I apologize for the chaos that I caused yesterday. It turns out you can't change a Google Plus event from private to public. You have to delete it and recreate it, which is just horrible. I'm also interested in different event platforms. If anyone's got experience of good, preferably free, open event management platforms, let me know. I'm looking at Lanyard. Obviously, Meetup not being free, but is kind of the standard. I would like to see what other alternatives we've got. I looked at Eventbrite, but it kind of does ticketing. Yeah, and that's kind of all the things I'm working on at the moment. There will be a lot more. There's plenty to talk about content-wise, so we've got some case studies that are coming up. We've got some deep dives that are coming up. I'm going to start doing some YouTube recordings soon for tips and tricks, beginner's guide stuff. There's some documentation stuff that needs to happen. I do have some open questions for the community. I'm particularly interested to know how people think we can promote plugins better and how we can get more contribution at the design level. You know, we publish a lot of stuff to Foreman Dev, but it doesn't always get a huge number of comments. So I'd be very interested to know if anyone's got any thoughts on that. So lots going on in the community. Last thing I'll finish with, Foreman 1.10 RC2, according to Dominic, should be out today. The packages are currently building. If they pass tests, they'll be out today, so don't hold me to it if it doesn't happen. But all being well, it will be out today. So your participation in the release calendar is always hugely appreciated. The amount of testing you guys do is nothing short of amazing, and I hope that continues with RC2. So that's everything for today, I think, unless anyone has anything else they'd like to add from the presenters today. I'll take that as a no. So thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you on the next demo.